January 5th, 1943. The Eastern Front is locked in the grip of a brutal winter, colder and harsher than anyone could have imagined. A young soldier crouches in a trench on the Eastern Front, surrounded by a world of ice and silence. The snow muffles every sound, making the world feel distant and unreal. The trees are skeletal, stripped bare by the wind, and the sky above is a dull, endless grey that offers no hope of warmth or relief. The cold is everywhere, biting, relentless, more dangerous than any enemy bullet. It creeps into every layer of clothing, gnawing at exposed skin and sapping strength. Every breath is a cloud of mist, every movement a struggle against numbness. Even the simplest tasks become monumental challenges in this frozen world. The soldier's thin coat is no match for the -20-degree air. His uniform, meant for autumn, is now a flimsy barrier against the deadly chill. The ground is iron-hard, frozen solid beneath his boots. The silence is broken only by distant artillery or the sudden crack of ice-laden branches echoing through the emptiness. He listens, alert for enemy patrols, but the cold is the true threat. It saps his focus, making every second a test of endurance. Fingers and toes go numb, the trigger of his rifle is hard to feel. The pain of the cold is constant, a reminder of how close danger always is. Sleep is dangerous. He knows he might not wake up. The temptation to close his eyes is strong, but surrendering to exhaustion could mean never opening them again. Survival is a battle against the elements as much as the enemy. Each day is a test of willpower, a fight to keep moving, to keep hoping. Thousands along the front share this fight, faces raw, eyes hollow, spirits tested by the unending cold. The winter spares no one, friend or foe. The cold breaks men without a shot fired. It claims its victims quietly, leaving only abandoned gear and empty places in the line. Small comforts, hot tea, dry socks, become victories. These moments of warmth are rare, but they are treasured more than medals or glory. They watch the sky for sun, but it's a pale, distant disk, offering little warmth and even less hope. Nights are the worst, when the cold seeps deepest and the fight for life is most desperate. Darkness brings new fears and the cold feels endless. In this frozen hell, every action is a struggle for survival. Even standing up or moving through the snow can feel impossible. The cold is a silent enemy, always waiting, always pressing in. It is patient, wearing men down day after day. The war here is not just against men, but against the winter itself. The snow and ice are as deadly as any weapon. And in the darkness, each soldier fights a lonely personal war, against the cold, against fear, and against the silence that threatens to swallow them whole. Life in the trenches meant endless cold and damp, a misery that seeped into every bone and every waking moment. Trenches filled with mud and freezing water, boots and uniforms froze to skin, making every step a painful ordeal. Trench foot and frostbite were constant threats, crippling men without a shot fired, leaving them unable to walk or fight. Soldiers huddled together for warmth, but it was never enough to chase away the biting chill that lingered day and night. The cold dulled minds, slowed movements, and destroyed morale, leaving men numb and spiritless as days dragged on. Even simple tasks, eating, writing, sleeping, became monumental challenges as numb fingers struggled to hold utensils or pens. Food froze solid, letters home were nearly impossible to write, and the longing for warmth grew stronger with each passing day. Sleep brought no relief. Shivering and fear of freezing to death haunted every night, robbing men of rest and hope. The misery was relentless, a test of endurance and willpower that pushed every soldier to his absolute limits. The cold was a torturer, stripping men down to their most basic instinct. Survive, no matter the cost or pain. Every day was a battle not just against the enemy but against despair, loneliness, and the creeping sense of hopelessness. In the trenches, survival was a war fought inside each man's mind, where courage and hope were as vital as food or shelter, or With little official equipment at their disposal, soldiers became inventors out of necessity, forced to adapt to the harsh realities of war. They built trench stoves from oil drums, food cans, even empty shell casings. Anything that could be repurposed to create warmth and cook food in the biting cold. Fuel was whatever they could find, scraps of wood, lumps of coal, or even rags soaked in oil scavenged from the battlefield. Trench candles made from rolled newspaper and wax provided both precious light and a little extra heat during the long, dark nights. Dugouts, carefully lined with straw or layers of newspaper, became makeshift insulated shelters against the freezing wind and damp. These acts of creation were more than survival. They were acts of defiance, proof of life and hope in a world dominated by destruction. Ingenuity, not just equipment, kept them alive and gave them a sense of control over their fate. Each puff of smoke from a homemade stove was a quiet signal to the world. We endure, and we will not be broken. One of the simplest, most effective tricks was the double-sized boot. Soldiers traded for boots 1 or 2 sizes too large, stuffing them with cloth, straw, or newspaper. The trapped air and layers insulated feet, fighting frostbite and trench foot. This field-tested wisdom often defied regulations, but saved countless lives. Sometimes, survival means breaking the rules and trusting experience. The simplest solutions, like a boot full of newspaper, could mean the difference between life and crippling injury. Today's soldiers have high-tech gear, insulated boots, heated clothing, portable heaters. But technology can fail. Batteries die, supply chains break, equipment malfunctions. The old tricks, oversized boots, makeshift stoves, needed no batteries, just resourcefulness. In chaos, simple solutions are often the most reliable. The WW2 soldiers' ingenuity was anti-fragile, growing stronger as conditions worsened. Modern gear is powerful, but knowledge and adaptability are irreplaceable. When everything else fails, it's the old lessons that endure. Survival is about principles, not just products. The greatest survival tool wasn't a stove or a boot, it was the mind. Soldiers who survived were problem solvers, inventors, and sharers of knowledge. They saw potential in trash, hope in hardship. Survival was a collective effort. Ideas spread quickly, making everyone stronger. Endurance was as much mental as physical, a refusal to surrender to despair. Every small act of invention was an act of hope. The true weapon against the cold was human ingenuity. The frozen trenches teach us timeless lessons that echo through history. True preparedness is about knowledge, not just equipment or supplies you carry. Ingenuity and adaptability are the ultimate survival skills in the harshest conditions. Simple, robust solutions often outlast complex technology, especially in the field. The legacy of these soldiers is resilience, enduring with almost nothing but sheer will. Our greatest resource is within us, the ability to think, adapt, and work together as one. The lessons of the ice remain, a guide to human ingenuity and spirit in adversity.